seeing your face, and we see your ankles, just not taking it. You lie about everything. So when you say that, things must be very, very bad. Also, then at 10 p.m. last night, Donald Trump then posts "Good night!" exclamation point, and then right before he goes "Good night," this was on Washingtonian Prompt's Instagram, where someone in Washington captured this. Somebody was in the White House throwing garbage bags or something out of the window. Now, you're in the White House. You have infinite resources, right? Why are you using throwing things out of a window as your mode of transportation? What was in this bag? What is going on here? This happened yesterday, spotted at the White House. I want you to watch the window. You'll see someone hanging outside of the window, throwing things out. You know, it reminds me of like the movies where like the guy shows up and like his like ex-girlfriend or wife is like throwing his suitcase or throwing his clothes out the window. Here, play this clip.
I was like hanging for my credit report that were false. It was more of a frustration and a disappointment, and so I wanted that reported accurately.
Meet Andrea. Her story is so worthy of selling. I think that we made it into a book.
This advice to my younger self: protect your credit at all costs if you do nothing else. Those are the words of Andrea the Wise. You see, some years ago, she was in debt, credit score in the 500s. She wanted help from a place she could trust. That's when Credit Karma on her back. Direct dispute became her weapon of choice for extras. False delinquent car payment, lost. Cell phone debt, she knew nothing about, lost it. She was obsessed, eventually disputing thousands in debt. As a result, her score soared high. A credit score over 700 was soon hers to admire. Drawn full of confidence, ready to tackle her next goals, Andrea knows it's not about how you start, it's searching for new ways to get better that matters the most. And no one knows better than Andrea the Wise.
Start your story. Listen to it, Credit Karma.
Explain to me, Rougiette. It's like a breath mint that spices up the bedroom.
Yes, kind of. After my husband Cooper turned 40, things started to slow down in the bedroom. And he also does have PTSD because he works in firefighting. And I think the stress was just a lot for him. And so he tried Viagra, he tried Cialis, and they did help down there, but they just weren't doing anything for up here. So the light bulb for me was when we found this brand called Rougiette. They combine the active ingredients in Cialis and Viagra. Then they also have a third ingredient called apomorphine, and that literally primes your mind for sex. And he just pops his little mint, and it's like we're 23 all over again. How did you find it? You go to rougiettemint.com, you enter your info, and then that's it.
Here, play this clip.
That's good. That's good. No, because
It's not there, right? Right now, right? So there goes. He's on it. He's looking good.
Now, I'll show you, did show us proof of life yesterday. Former President Biden, his granddaughters posted photos yesterday. And then he got ice cream yesterday. Here he was with his daughter and granddaughters getting ice cream. I want you to watch this, play this clip.
That's the ones, the crema. Ven por allá.
Are getting really upset about people calling out Donald Trump's and the fact that since last Wednesday, Donald Trump has refused to be anywhere near a camera and anywhere close. So he said has been published or broadcast. At least that's been on TV thus far. Charlie Kirk says, it's been pretty sick to watch. Certain members of the press so giddy at the prospect of President Trump being ill that they ran with fake rumors he was dying or already dead. These are bad people. Instead, he's playing golf with Super Bowl champion head coach John Gruden. Crying laugh emojis. Okay, but that seems to be an old, outdated picture there. Charlie? Then Charlie? As angry staffer writes, guy who said Biden was dead has thoughts on honesty. Now, other statements who were posted this
Leslie.
Constant winning. Donald Trump's on the golf course, much deserved. Trump is truly loved by everybody. Here was another big trade account called MAGA Voice. This was a photo from June 28th that they posted. Trump's right video spread by MAGA is a June 28th. So they're just circulating old videos right now, which again is very suspicious that Donald Trump posts the following photo of himself in flames. America is hot, and our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, sarcastically writes, he obviously knows where he is going. Oh, I should mention, these paintings are going across Washington, D.C. on walls of, I guess, people throwing sandwiches at the bases of various Trump cabinet officials. The Janine Heroes, who's United States Attorney, Christino, and others. This email, though, went out as well from the Trump account. This was a fundraising email that was sent earlier in the week from Trump. I want to try and get to heaven. Last year, I came millimeters from death when that bullet pierced through my skin. My triumphant return to the White House, though, was never supposed to happen. It's a weird email to send. And he keeps on saying, I really want to get to heaven. I really want to get to heaven. Bad news for you there, if that's really where you want to go. Here are some other posts that he's making as well. Yesterday evening before saying good night. He goes, more than $15 trillion will be invested in the USA, a record. Much of this investment because of tariffs. If a radical left court is allowed to terminate these tariffs, almost all of this investment and much more will be immediately canceled. In many ways, we would become a third world nation with no hope of greatness again. Time is of the essence, President BJD. So I want to cue you in. He's a con artist. He's a felon. He's a fraud. He's a sexual abuser. He's a loser. He's a banker. So what's he doing right there? To his MAGA mush brain cult to help state regime media normalize this behavior, which they should never do. So he claims he brought in $15 trillion. $15 trillion. Where is it? Is it from the Treasury? Are there written agreements? So the first very suspicious red flag, no written agreements, it's not in the Treasury. If we brought in $15 trillion in a year, that would be fantastic. I would be applauding that. Could you imagine if we really brought in $15 trillion from foreign countries, just writing us checks? We would pay down debt significantly. Things would be great. Yet our debt is significantly rising. Our deficit is rising. Deficit and debt significantly higher now than under former President Biden. Government spending is higher than ever before. If we brought in $15 trillion, theory, let me ask this question. Why would you need to raise the debt ceiling in the disastrous budget bill by $5 trillion? If you brought in $15 trillion, wouldn't that cover the next 3 years? So you wouldn't need to raise the debt ceiling. Oh, wait a minute, Ben. You're using logic. Why would you use logic? Just let the MAGA base be. Donald Trump said that, and then he goes, folks, but the courts, I was going to guess $15 trillion, but these electing courts, George W. Bush judges, they screwed me. I would have got it done. It's exactly what he did with COVID. Same thing. Don't test. Blame Dr. Fauci. Right now, hoping to get the real economic data. Blame Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell or Board of Governor Lisa Cook or the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals. They're to blame. Blame them. Just focus on them. Then Donald Trump goes, prices are way down in the USA. with virtually no inflation, with the exception of ridiculous corrupt politician-approved windmills, which are killing every state and country that uses them. Energy prices are falling big time right now. Do you believe that? I mean, inflation is down right now. There's virtually no inflation. That things are affordable. Things are great. I mean, if you live, I mean, maybe not a weekend at Bernie's or weekend at Donnie's. If you're alive and you go to stores, you exist in this thing called planet Earth, United States of America, things are hard to afford. Things are worse. Things are more expensive by far. So when he goes, prices, they're not way down. And overwhelmingly in poll after poll, Americans view Donald Trump's handling of inflation and the economy as a huge net negative. Net negative 18 to negative 30, depending on. You can keep on posting the stuff weekend at Donnie's. Get that Donnie's. Trump's economy is booming, consumer spending up, inflation low, wages up. Except it's not true. It's false. And you can keep on firing every one of your economists and the Bureau of Labor Statistics Commissioner, but we the people know what's happening in the stores. We are aware of what exists. Unless, of course, you're living in your MAGA mush dystopian fantasy land and you're one of those cabinet members in your Kim Jong-un world. We know what's happening in the world. And I want you all to think about this too. I did a story yesterday, earlier today as well, and I'll do many more on it. So one of the things that Donald Trump is cutting is a program called Home in Rural Areas, which provided much needed money to low-income people in rural areas to afford their first home or to afford a home. 85% of those homes were built in areas that voted for Trump. Okay, about 1.3 million homes. Trump's killing that program, just destroying that program. Meanwhile, you have the Housing and Urban Development HUD is destroying Section 8 housing and saying it's all waste, fraud, and abuse and kicking people off of that. Okay. I've done stories how Trump is kicking low-income individuals with children, prohibiting them from getting grants to go to undergraduate and college students. But I want you to see this right here, what Trump's posted. So even though Trump is lying, the whole story here is false. The premise is false, and it's saying that Gavin Newsom wants to put all this low-income housing in the Pacific Palisades, which is, it's not accurate. It's not an accurate story.
Hi, I'm Mark Elias, and I'm is that premise. And I need more help to join me in standing up against Donald Trump. Look, like you, I'm just one person doing my best to try to navigate a dangerous time in our country's history. Sure, I'm a lawyer. And yes, I have a somewhat larger platform, but right now, my most important role is the same as yours, active citizen.
The story saying by low-income housing, though, they're referring to a housing that's like $1.5 to $2 million homes, just to be clear, what they consider low-income housing, in a story that's based on a false premise. There's no truth. But anyway, but here's Trump's perspective. Can you imagine being so stupid as to destroy one of the best areas in the United States by building low-income housing there? The people must be having a fit. So even if you just assume the premise is true, which it isn't, low-income housing to help more people get into homes to solve our housing crisis. See, Trump's an oligarch. He's like, why would we let poor people live there? Why would we want to build low-income housing in beautiful areas? The people must be having a fit. How could you possibly believe that this guy is for the people? I just don't understand how low-income people fall for this crap when he's telling you to your face he hates you and doesn't think you belong in the club. He's telling you what more data do you need than in religion? It's the equivalent of him saying, I'm shooting you from Fifth Avenue. He's mocking you. He's saying, you low-income people, you deserve the high people in my areas. Stay in the ghetto. Stay in those. That's where you stay in the street. What do you think he's saying? It's horrible what he's saying. A few other points I want to make, though, and I want you to check your back there. We did a lot of important videos today. we